every public official, police officer, city clerk, etc., does a declaration of an affidavit. They state that they will uphold the American Constitution, the Nebraska Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. When police officers leave the academy in Nebraska, they sign an oath. And the thing is that the problem with the American Constitution, it's in Washington, it's under glass, and all it is paper. A lot of people are not here today because they fear. Okay? And the thing is, they fear law enforcement in Dawes County. Now, why am I here? I'm here because my family is being threatened by various means. Crawford city officials have tried to put me in prison. Vance Hogg has used the courts to oppress me. I went to Vance Hogg looking for help in the year 2004 about animal cruelty in Crawford, and he wouldn't return my calls, and he wouldn't deal with me, and he took the word of Richard Thompson, a man that has a history of killing animals in Crawford. I got on the wrong side of Dawes County officials when I tried to bring the attention of Vance Hogg to the Attorney General in 2004. In 2004, in June, I sent a letter to the Attorney General telling him that Vance Hogg was not doing his job and he was using the courts as an instrument of punishment. And in July, Vance Hogg charged me with a terrorist threat. When the police use a terroristic threat on citizens, here's what they're telling you. They are depriving you of your constitutional rights of free speech. They can frame it any way they want. Okay? That is a terrible law. Now, I have sent proof to the Dawes County Attorney, the Attorney General, that Thompson has went into homes in Crawford without search warrants, and you know something? They don't care. It's a terrible thing because when a guy like Thompson does what he does, he tarnishes the name of every good police officer in America. But don't forget, every police officer in America wants to see him exonerated. My friend Bill Squirrelduff was charged with state crimes under state statutes by Vance Hogg. My friend Bill Squirrelduff asked for a jury trial. He wanted a jury trial because he wanted to expose the corruption in the judicial system here, especially coming out of the office of Vance Hogg. Well, they did not want Bill to have a jury trial because the thing is, people would be called to the stand. Lots of Crawford city officials. What does he do? Vance Hogg turns the case over to a special prosecutor and they go with Bill under city ordinance. The thing is, well, Bill, you're not going to go to jail if we do you under city ordinance, so why don't you just cop a plea? Well, the whole thing is, Bill didn't cop a plea. Stop and think. You charge a citizen under state statutes. Then when the jury trial is coming, you go ahead and pass it on to a special prosecutor, and that special prosecutor has to take the case back. Special prosecutor reduces it down to city ordinance. What a way to keep the truth from being told to a jury of Bill's peers. The other story that people are not telling you, Jesse Britton, shot and killed by Crawford Police Chief and Kling. Isn't it ironic that they go ahead and they use Jesse Britton? Jesse Britton is Jesse Zarazusa. Jesse's father is a Mexican national. Okay? And I've done my research, and the thing is, he's of the Indian Nation. So here's a kid, they won't portray him as a minority child. No, he's Jesse Britton, a white name. Okay, now, papers don't bring that up. Richard Thompson went into a home without a search warrant. I have the proof. It's at the office of the Attorney General. It went through the people here. Went into a home without a search warrant. And the State Attorney General won't hold him accountable. I have a letter here from the State Attorney General just recently saying to me, at this time we don't anticipate doing anything. What does that mean? At this time. Are they waiting to see the outcome of Thompson's situation? And if he's exonerated, will they cover everything up? Okay? There's a problem. And it smells in Dawes County. And it smells at the office of the Attorney General. The house that Richard Thompson went into without a search warrant, in this state it says search warrants will be served during daylight hours. A copy of the search warrant will be given to the person so they have it. And the officer doing the search warrant will return that search warrant back to the court. It never happened. The last time that a search warrant was issued to go into a home in Dawes County, as I do the records, was in 2002, and it was issued to the Chadron Police Department. What copy did Thompson and his other two officers show to the Summers family? The Summers family, the mother of that family, the matriarch of that family, is Native American. A grandson of that lady was physically assaulted by Richard Thompson. Guns were pulled on that individual by Thompson, Buck Freetag, and game warden Murphy, John Murphy. The kid was kneed in the groin. There's no report. There's no report in city records, according to Thompson's police manual and according to other manuals, that when you pull your gun, you're supposed to do a report. There is no report in the files in Crawford about guns being pulled on the grandson in that family. There is no report about that young man being kneed in the groin by Thompson. There's lots of things missing in the files in Crawford. Thompson's personnel record is missing in the city of Crawford. Richard Thompson is on record with a court document filed in Dawes County that he's claiming that the mayor of Crawford provided them documents to me, and that's how I was able to get information on him. Okay? No, I'm sorry. The reason I was able to track Richard Thompson down and get information on him because he liked to brag in his press releases every place he went. Okay? Prison guard in Lincoln, Greeley sheriff for a month, not deputized, on to Kearney, North Platte, Garden County, Gothenburg, Newcastle, Wyoming, where he was fired. And then I have a letter from Crawford city officials telling me that Richard Thompson was vetted at great length. Well, I went to school. Vetted at great length means they made phone calls, they did a background check on him. No, they didn't. I have an audio tape, okay, where we have a city official in Crawford advocating running a family out of town. Okay, we know that the Crawford city officials ran lots of families out of town. They ran the Wasserberger GMC business out of town. They try to run me out of town, and I do live in fear. So I'm not going to go into great detail, but let me tell you something. None of this, if Vance Hall would have dealt with the issue of animal cruelty when I brought it to his attention in 2004, I would not have all these documents. And Vance Hall uses the court system to oppress, okay? And it can be proven. You go, I was a probation officer in California. And the thing is, I sat in the court every day. I got out of probation work because I got tired of seeing blonde, blue-eyed kids go home to mom and dad and get diversion this. But an Indian kid out of West Sacramento by the name of Wilkes for the same crime was sent to the California Youth Authority. Now, what happens when you go to the Cali Youth Authority? You become a real badass and you do learn the rules. California has a history for making money off of prisoners. Okay, the United States has more prisoners behind bars than any country in the world per population. The justice system in America is not good. And proportionately, poor people, people of color, get the hammer. You see it every day here in court. You don't fix the problems overnight. And you have to give local law officials an opportunity to fix the problem. But the problem is, you cannot say to me, like they've said in Crawford, that's in the past. The setting fire to your home is in the past. The city council not letting you talk before the city council is in the past. We had a Crawford police officer have sex with a minor, 2 minors. Record on record at the office of the Attorney General, nothing was done. The city attorney looked the other way. The Attorney General looked the other way. The Crawford councils under Mayor Kitely, Paul Shimmick, and Maloney, they all looked the other way. We have a Native American here, his animal was killed. Thompson knew that that was his animal. I tried to bring it to the attention of the city government. They ignored it, told me, we don't want to talk about it. I have the documents. His animal was shot and killed by Thompson. It was in the paper. It was in the Chadron paper. And when I brought the facts of the case to the attention of city officials, I have the documents. So what? Richard Thompson was supposed to do a police report of discharging a weapon when he shot that animal. He didn't do it. Thompson was supposed to do a report when he shot other animals. He didn't do it. The documents are there. I have them on file with different attorneys. Much of this is on file with the State Attorney General. My family lives in fear. We've been persecuted, and if Vance Hall would have done what he was supposed to do when we went to him for help in 2004, and if the Attorney General would have looked into all the complaints he's got, Jesse Zarazusa would not be dead. There was an arson attempt in my home, and it was called a prank. We live in fear in Crawford.
I'm a legally disabled military veteran. I've been severely harassed in Crawford. What brought myself to the attention of the corrupt city officials in Crawford was my writing letters to area newspapers. My letters were truthful and caused discomfort to Crawford leaders. They used the power of their police force in an attempt to intimidate me and run me out of town. They have, with the assistance of the Dawes County attorney, brought unfounded charges against me. They have entered my home without a warrant. They confiscated my property and even physically roughed me up. I was taken into physical custody with no mention of my Miranda rights. My home has been vandalized. My beloved dog was poisoned. Noxious weed seeds were scattered on my property. A memorial I established in my front yard for the child killed by Chief Thompson also has been vandalized. I live in fear, but I refuse to be run out of town and the home that I grew up in.
Mobile broadcast news.
Every public official, police officer, city clerk, etc., does a declaration of an affidavit. They state that they will uphold the American Constitution, the Nebraska Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. When police officers leave the academy in Nebraska, they sign an oath. And the thing is that the problem with the American Constitution, it's in Washington, it's under glass, and all it is paper. A lot of people are not here today because they fear. Okay? And the thing is, they fear law enforcement in Dawes County. Now, why am I here? I'm here because my family is being threatened by various means. Crawford city officials have tried to put me in prison. Vance Hall has used the courts to oppress me. I went to Vance Hall looking for help in the year 2004 about animal cruelty in Crawford, and he wouldn't return my calls. And in July, Vance Hall charged me with a terrorist threat. When the police use a terroristic threat on citizens, here's what they're telling you. They are depriving you of your constitutional rights of free speech. They can frame it any way they want. Okay? That is a terrible law. Now, I have sent proof to the Dawes County attorney, the Attorney General, that Thompson has went into homes in Crawford without search warrants, and you know something? They don't care. It's a terrible thing because when a guy like Thompson does what he does, he tarnishes the name of every good police officer in America. But don't forget, every police officer in America wants to see him exonerated. My friend Bill Squirrelduff was charged with state crimes under state statutes by Vance Hall, and he wouldn't deal with me and took the word of Richard Thompson, a man that has a history of killing animals in Crawford. I got on the wrong side of Dawes County officials when I tried to bring the attention of Vance Hall to the Attorney General in 2004. In 2004, in June, I sent a letter to the Attorney General telling him that Vance Hall was not doing his job and he was using the courts as an instrument of punishment.